It started with a garden hose and a woman who thought she ruled the world. One sunny Saturday morning, I was washing my own truck when two police cruisers rolled up, sirens off, lights flashing. Across the street stood Charlotte Miller, queen of the HOA, wrapped in a pink suit like a traffic cone with authority issues. She was shouting at the officers. He assaulted me with water, and right then, standing there with a dripping hose in my hand, I thought, of all the things I could get arrested for, washing my own truck wasn't supposed to be one of them. My name's Donald Allen, retired civil engineer, quiet neighbor, lover of clean trucks and straight lawn edges. I moved to Sunrest Meadows thinking I'd found peace, a neat little cul-de-sac where the loudest sound was a sprinkler at dawn. I should have known better, because in every peaceful place there's always one person who believes the bylaws were carved on stone tablets, and in our case that person was Charlotte Miller. 2 weeks before that police circus, Charlotte launched her latest crusade, Sunrest Spirit Day, a mandatory neighborhood car wash. She slipped glossy flyers under every door, her face printed twice, once smiling, once pointing like Uncle Sam. The fine print read, "All residents strongly encouraged to participate. Premium equipment owners expected to lead by example." Premium equipment, of course, meant my pressure washer. I'd bought that machine after replacing my fence. It's loud, temperamental, and sprays with the attitude of a mule. I loved it. But lending it out, not a chance. When Charlotte cornered me during my morning walk, clipboard pressed to her chest, she said, "Donald, you've been selected as pressure washer captain." "Selected by who?" "The board," she said, which meant, of course, herself. "You'll start with my Lexus at 8 sharp. I told her I'd be donating cash instead of time. Her smile thinned. Spirit Day isn't about money, it's about community. "Leadership through free labor?" I asked. She didn't laugh. "You have equipment. The community needs equipment. It's simple." "So is ownership," I said. "The washer's mine. So is my Saturday." That night, the first email arrived. Subject: notice of non-compliance, Spirit participation. It was full of legal-sounding words with no real meaning, CC'd to the board, the treasurer, and the so-called community attorney, her cousin, who lives 2 towns over and advertises on bus benches. I ignored it, watered my gardenias, oiled my gate hinges. But by Friday, a bright orange sign appeared in my yard. Landscape review, pending violation, edging irregular. That's when I started documenting everything: photos, emails, timestamps. I had a folder labeled Soap Opera, because I knew it wasn't about grass or spirit, it was about control. Saturday came, perfect blue sky, calm breeze, coffee strong enough to fix bad decisions. I rolled my pickup into the driveway and turned on the hose. Across the street, Charlotte appeared in her pink power suit, clipboard in one hand, smartphone in the other. "You're late," she said. "For what?" I asked. "Your assignment." "This is my assignment," I said, pointing to my truck. "You can wash it later," she snapped. "This is a community event." "I'm participating," I said, in solitude. She glared at the soap sliding down my fender like it had personally insulted her. "You're obstructing community operations, Donald. You're siphoning HOA water. This water," I said, "is coming from my spigot." "You're refusing to serve," she yelled. "If you mean wash your Lexus for free, yeah, I'm refusing." A few neighbors peeked out. Joe, my buddy with the Mustang, stood at his fence mid-donut. Charlotte changed tactics. "If you bring your pressure washer, I'll waive your patio permit review," she offered. "You mean the one that doesn't exist," I said. She smiled. "Are you sure?" That's when something heavy settled inside me. I met her stare and said, "Positive." She looked down at the water again, then did something I'll never forget, stepped right into the mist and shouted, "He's spraying me. He's assaulting me." I dropped the hose, stunned. Charlotte, walk away. Instead, she glared, grabbed her phone and said, "You'll regret this. I'm calling the police." 10 minutes later, the cruisers rolled up. The officers looked confused. One asked, "Ma'am, are you hurt?" Humiliated, she snapped and soaked. They looked at me, at the limp hose by my feet, then at each other. I invited them inside, pulled up the security footage and hit play. There she was, stepping into the water herself, announcing the attack. The officer sighed. "Mr. Allen, you're fine. Maybe just don't engage with her." Trust me, I said that's the plan. But Charlotte doesn't lose quietly. By Monday, envelopes appeared on my door fines for failure to demonstrate community spirit, improper water use, even rude tone. Her gossip spread faster than lawn fertilizer. Neighbors avoided eye contact. For a while, I wondered if maybe I was the problem. Maybe I should have just smiled, washed her Lexus, kept the peace. But then one morning a city truck parked across my driveway. The worker said he had an HOA order claiming my sprinkler system was leaking. I don't even have sprinklers. Across the street, Charlotte watched, grinning behind her sunglasses. That's when the doubt burned away. I filed a formal complaint with the county housing board, attached every email, every photo, every fake fine. 2 days later, I got an email from an investigator, Ethan Reyes, compliance officer. He wrote, "Mr. Allen, we've received your documents. There appear to be irregularities in Sunrest Meadows HOA filings. Please stand by." When the next HOA meeting rolled around, I showed up. Charlotte sat at the head of the table like a judge in pink. "This hearing," she said, banging a gavel, "is to address Mr. Allen's repeated defiance." "You're aware this isn't an actual courtroom, right?" I asked. She ignored me. "You are fined $500 for insubordination." I stood up. "Charlotte, you might want to check your bylaws before you start writing tickets because the county's checking them too." Her face drained of color. 2 days later, flashing lights returned to Sunrest, but not for me. 3 cruisers, 1 unmarked SUV. Sheriff Grady, a friend from my Army Reserve days, stepped out. "Morning, Don," he said. "Mind if we use your driveway for a minute? Be my guest." He turned toward Charlotte, who was standing frozen on her porch. "Miss Miller, we have a warrant to search the HOA office for financial misconduct and forgery." The neighborhood went silent. Deputies carried boxes out of the clubhouse, records, laptops, fake signatures. Grady told her calmly, "You're suspended pending investigation. You're not under arrest yet, but I'd advise cooperation." Charlotte's voice cracked. "You can't do this." "I am—" The HOA, Grady adjusted his hat. "Not anymore, ma'am." For the first time, Charlotte didn't shout. She just stood there clutching her clipboard like a life vest while the cruisers pulled away. I'd like to say that was the end of it, but people like Charlotte don't go down easy. Even after the county froze her accounts, she sent emails accusing me of orchestrating a vendetta. She even filed a fake property lien against my house, $750 for beautification violations. But this time she'd crossed into felony territory. The sheriff called it slander of title. They added it to her charges. A week later, she showed up at a community meeting, uninvited, beige suit instead of pink lawyer in tow. "You're all making a mistake," she said, eyes wild. "Donald manipulated this whole thing. He assaulted me. He's been watching me." She shoved an envelope into my hand, the lien papers. Sheriff Grady read them aloud, then said quietly, "Miss Miller, filing false liens is a felony. You're digging deeper." Her lawyer tried to stop her, but she kept talking. "I did what I had to do to protect this neighborhood from people like him." Her voice trembled, the power gone. Grady sighed. "Ma'am, that's enough." He handed the papers to the county officer. "We'll clear your title." "Don Ethan told me." Charlotte looked around desperate, and for the first time seemed to realize no one believed her anymore. The next morning she was arrested quietly. No spectacle, no shouting. Just a single unmarked car, a polite deputy explaining the charges, forgery, falsified documents, and harassment. I watched from my porch, not out of spite but disbelief. The pink blazer looked faded in the noon light, more costume than armor. She met my eyes just before stepping into the car, and for a second I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. When the cruiser turned the corner, the cul-de-sac was silent. Not the uneasy silence of fear, real silence. Peaceful. Honest. I didn't cheer. I didn't gloat. I just picked up my hose, turned on the water, and went back to washing my truck. Because sometimes justice doesn't arrive with fireworks or speeches. Sometimes it's just the sound of water hitting concrete, washing away months of noise. Lesson learned. Power only controls you if you let fear hold the hose.